Now, you may have noticed when you walked in that the charcuterie room is strangely turned into a butchery. So methinks that we could be doing something with beef, and we are. But first of all, we need to find out about beef, dispel some myths. So to do that, somebody who's an icon. They supply the majority of top restaurants, hatted restaurants in the country, and have over 2,000 customers. It's Victor Churchill, and from Victor Churchill, the man behind it is Anthony Paharich. Please welcome Anthony.
That's amazing.
He comes bearing gifts. Look at that.
That's awesome.
Anthony, welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Now, Anthony, you're obviously very passionate about meat, beef in particular. What's the love? Tell us about that.
Look, on a personal level, I just love eating steak. I mean,
Join the rest of us. And certainly anybody that loves beef or loves food, Victor Churchill, we know who that is, don't we?
yeah, it's got an incredible history. It's the oldest continuously run butcher shop in Australia. It's been there for 135 years. You know, to know that we can carry on that tradition is something really, really important for us.
Andy, I'm sure you love your beef. Tell us why you love it.
There's nothing better than going down to your local pub and having a beer and a steak with a good mushroom sauce or a good pepper sauce. There's nothing better.
What about braised short ribs and beef cheeks? And
Yeah, but I'm just looking
skirt
at those
steak.
T-bones.
You're looking at these, aren't you?
Yeah, it looks like
How can you get your eyes off those T-bones?
These are a couple of great 1 kilo
Yeah.
T-bones.
Whoa, that's absolutely perfect size for me. And we're going to cook with those a little bit later. But first up, let's go and have a look in your butcher shop.
Sure.
Oh my God, look at that.
This looks great, doesn't it?
Wow.
Well, what was it? Welcome to Anthony's pop-up butcher shop.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's our first pop-up ever, so...
You know, I wanted you in here, though, just sharpening a knife. Look at me, you know? So, welcome to my butcher shop. I think we should talk, first of all, about the cut of meat that you walked in with. What's this?
Commonly known as T-bone. If this steak hasn't reached cult status, Gary, by the end of this show, it certainly
will
will.
do.
Yeah, you've got the best of both worlds because you've got 2 cuts in one, really. You've got your sirloin on one end and you fill it on your other end. But and this is the piece that it comes from, so a short loin.
Right.
So you derive your T-bone from this particular piece of meat.
So explain this and what grade this is. Is it
So this is a piece of dry-aged short loin or T-bone.
dry aging means?
It's an age-old process of actually hanging meat or curing meat, and it's about improving the tenderness and it's about improving the flavour profile of that meat.
What's this bit connected to? Actually, we need a cow. I'm just looking at Ben. Come around here. I just want you to come around here because I love this little demonstration because it's perfectly obvious then where everything comes from. So you turn this way. So this bit here is your
T-bone or your short.
Can we just T-bone this? T-bone that way round. That's it.
That would be him.
That's it. That's right. Yeah. So that's your T-bone. Gee, you're a beefy bloke. It'd be on this side, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
You got it.
And
So
then
that's the T-bone.
And then you've got the ribeye or.
So where's that bit?
So that's closer up
To the
towards the neck.
shoulder.
Yeah, so up
Including
towards,
ribs. Lift your arm up, cow.
And move.
Right, so that's here.
Yeah, that's right. So you can see the ribs there, and they sort of wrap around the body. That's right.
He's good.
If we go that little bit further, that's your rump. So you can point to that bit, Gary.
There's not a rump there.
So the rump is this top part here.
That's right,
The butt.
and that's connected to that part there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right. Can somebody lead the cow back round that way? Well done. I love it. Okay. We've got some sirloin steaks cut on the front here, and they look very, very different.
So these are 3 examples of Wagyu that we've got here. There's a grading system that we use in this country to sort of grade the quality of Wagyu in terms of its marbling. Marbling is what creates that juiciness and that flavour and that really buttery, soft texture.
Yeah.
And that score runs from 3 to 9. So depending on the sort of the amount of the deposits and the concentration of that marbling in the meat, they give it a certain score.
Okay.
So the lower the score, the lower the marbling. The higher the score, the higher the marbling.
And in Japanese terms, in terms of Wagyu, the higher the score, the better quality, the more expensive.
And the more expensive. So that's...
Because that's what they prize, is the fat.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right, so quickly, so we've seen our increase in marble score from low to high.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, so what are these porterhouse steaks?
So it's really topical, the whole debate, I suppose, between grass-fed and grain-fed meat. And yeah, so, you know, a really good tip in terms of trying to determine what's a grain-fed piece of meat or what's a grass-fed piece of meat is to look at the fat. You'll notice the fat on this particular piece of meat. It's quite creamier. It's got sort of a darker, whiter, creamier colour.
So is it always that distinct between grass and grain?
It's quite distinct. So it's that high iron in grass that sort of turns the meat darker and changes the sort of colour of the fat. So grass-fed meat spends its entire life grazing on grass. Whereas what happens with grain-fed meat, the bulk of the life of a grain-fed animal is spent on grass, but it's sort of finished on grain. And it's a high-energy diet, and what that diet does, it increases the sort of the marbling in the meat. It's not that one's better than the other, Gary. You know, some people prefer Shiraz, other people prefer Cabernet Sauvignon. It's just personal preference.
So the last little bit here, and to be honest, I look at this board and there's some secondary cuts here, things that, you know, your granny cooks with, but I reckon that's some of the best meat. Kylie, have you used a lot of these secondary cuts?
Yeah, I always usually go for the secondary cuts because I love the slow braises. I love just putting the slow cooker on like halfway through the day and then coming home after uni or whatever and just tucking into a beautiful piece of tender meat.
And as a uni student, you probably couldn't afford
exactly,
it.
Exactly. I don't have
That's a good point, though, and it is a lot more affordable. And it is important because these prime cuts only make up 10 or 15% of the overall weight of the animal. So there's so much more that we need to sort of use.
Anthony, you've given us so much information. Our brains are absolutely full to the brim, and hopefully everybody watching at home is going to go, OK, I've got a better idea of what I'm going to ask for when I want to put a steak on the barbecue and when I want to stick something in the slow cooker. So thanks very much.
My pleasure.
All right, let's go.
Thank you so much.
Anthony, thank you so much indeed.
See ya. Thank you.
Hey guys, bye-bye.
That was fantastic. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. So Anthony's left us these two tiny little steaks. I'm going to do grilled T-bone with a brown onion puree and roasted winter vegetables.